So hello, welcome to the video and welcome to Thessaloniki Airport. Time to head home, and I'm flying back on Aegean through Athens. Both legs this time are going to be in business class, so if you think you've recently already watched this video, this is a different one. I'll be able to show you the Thessaloniki lounges, also Athens non-Schengen business class lounge, and what the business class experience on Aegean is like in 2024. So if that sounds good, stick around. Hi, I'm Matt and this is Matt's Planet. I aim to entertain, educate and inspire with my travel adventures from planning to execution. I'll show you how you can travel in style for a lot less than you'd think. So subscribe so you can come with me. That may be the shortest intro I've ever recorded, and I recorded it after I recorded this clip, which will be made clear in a moment. I'd bought economy flights, and about 5 weeks before travel had requested an upgrade on the flight from Athens to London using one of the vouchers I'd received when I achieved gold with Aegean. That hadn't worked on the outbound flight, more on that later in the video, and I hadn't had confirmation that it had worked on this flight. But the lovely chap was able to report...
In the second flight you have business class also. And this boarding pass is for both flights.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I'd also bid for an upgrade on the shorter flight to Athens, €35 again, and this had also hit, this time about a week before travel, so it was business all the way that day. This is Terminal 2, which is only a couple of years old, and it was a very pleasant transit experience. It was around 11 AM and the airport was quiet, and for once the fast-track security lane was quicker than regular security would have been. A new airport, so of course security deposits you into the duty-free shop, but at least it's an attractive looking duty-free shop. In an attractive terminal, it really was all quite attractive. I usually like to wander around a terminal that's new to me for a while, but I was hungry, so I decided to head straight to the lounge. There'd be a time for a stroll before boarding, right? The lounge is a little tucked away in the basement, down some inauspicious stairs, but things perk up once you secure entry, as that entryway opens up into a really nice airy space that's very much in the Aegean lounge style. Rich blues with cream accents and patches of greenery. I'm struggling to find faults to point out, and the only real criticism I'd have is that most of the seating has really low backs, which aren't the most comfortable to relax in. But that's really the biggest criticism I can come up with. The drinks range was consistent with other lounges, with recognisable stuff alongside Greek products. Private Reserve Metaxa brandy too. Metaxa is a bit of an acquired taste, but after flying Aegean a few times, I've acquired it. Greek wines and a really nice touch. Some nibbles you might choose to have with your drink are available here, away from the wider food offering. The food was, well, something quite special happened. I started filming and one of the attendants hurried over and asked me to stop, which happens. Some lounges aren't keen to have stuff filmed, but she made it clear that she was in the process of changing from breakfast to lunch, so the offering was incomplete and wouldn't look good until she finished. Quite a lovely moment actually, and it showed a pride in her work that you don't see with most lounge attendants you come across. So I went back 20 minutes later and the lunch offering was really good, really well presented too. Cold stuff available in portioned out servings, juices and fruits, more juices over here, alongside some beers. Breads, nibbly bits including octopus, dips and olives. It's really, really very, very good. How many lounges give you octopus? Lots of sandwiches and salad items, though I didn't really get any footage of the hot options. So I relaxed and really enjoyed some lunch. Then an unexpected feature of the lounge revealed itself. Boarding direct from the lounge. Looks like I wouldn't get more time to explore the terminal after all. A flight to Brussels was first to go, but our flight to Athens followed swiftly after. You can see the arriving passengers from our plane here. The Brussels passengers boarded a bus. It scuppered my plan to stroll around the terminal some more, but direct lounge boarding is quite a rare feature that I felt compelled to take advantage of. All in all, it was a top-notch lounge experience. I made a video about my time in Thessaloniki that you can find here, but I'll quickly repeat that Aegean offers direct flights from Greece's second city to 20 or so international destinations and 10 or so domestic ones. So Thessaloniki Airport is surprisingly well connected. We had a few moments of #boarding not boarding to endure, although when you're standing on the apron looking at the planes, it's no real hardship. They released us just as the Sky Express plane next to us was pushing back. Quite unusual to be this close to a moving plane, but I'm sure it was all entirely safe. And up onto this Airbus A320-200 series, so a 9-year-old airframe with the classic engine option. A tray of boiled sweets is offered for all passengers. They did this on all 4 flights I took, but this was the first one I caught on film. 4 rows of business that afternoon, and I was in 2F. My customary 2A was taken when this upgrade bid was confirmed. 32 inches of legroom this far forward. As with their other planes, the legroom dwindles to 28 inches the further back you sit. A tray table, but unlike the Neo A320s, no device holder or USB port in the seat in front. Overall, it's a more retro-looking seat, but it's still very comfortable. And as is the norm in Euro business these days, the middle seat is blocked off. And overhead vents and lights. We boarded in plenty of time. The plane was perhaps half full, and we ended up sitting there for a while before the doors closed. But we pushed back on time, so as we take off, let me update you on my complaint about the outbound flight. My upgrade request from London to Athens had not cleared by the time I got to the airport, but I'd been told at check-in that I would be upgraded and that I could use the Star Alliance lounges in Terminal 2, as Aegean doesn't operate their own there. Neither of these promises were fulfilled. Aegean combines 2 flights onto one boarding pass, and as I'd had an economy and a business leg on the same boarding pass, the lounge access promised on that boarding pass related only to the second flight. The check-in agent didn't understand this and assumed that it applied to both flights, hence her confidence about both the upgrade and my ability to access a lounge. This is a clear training issue, and although I explained everything to Aegean in my original complaint, they chose to not believe that their agent would have gotten it wrong. They gave me 2,000 reward miles as a gesture, which was appreciated, but they didn't really address the issue. Now I have completed the video of that flight, I shared the footage showing that I wasn't making it all up and trying it on, and that their check-in agent really didn't understand how Aegean boarding passes work. They have now replied and have apologised again and have promised to revisit their training. They didn't offer any additional compensation, but I'm pleased that they are taking it seriously. A whole 40 minutes in the air down to Athens today, which meant my upgrade ended up costing 88 euro cents per minute, but that was still long enough for there to be a service. With a proper tablecloth, Aegean really does hover up the service bonus points, even on these super short flights. No menu, perhaps a bonus point given back there, but it was delicious again. I was able to identify artichoke in the item on the right. And some Greek red wine. Cheers. I could have had a coffee, but settled for the lump of chocolate that had come as part of the meal. This is objectively an excellent experience to have on a 40-minute flight where the crew have perhaps 15 minutes to serve people. And as my upgrade gave me access to that excellent lounge, I think on this occasion the 35 euros I paid represented respectable value. A domestic arrival into Athens and you're deposited into the Schengen part of the terminal. No more security to clear if you're connecting to another Schengen destination. No such luck for non-Schengen destinations, and once again I didn't spot a shortcut to avoid going landside, but it's relatively quick to do so, and as I had fast-track security access I was quickly back through. Travelling through the non-Schengen area to London gave me access to Aegean's flagship lounge. This is still a very new facility. Don't miss the sign to the lounge zone, as it is easy to miss. Then up the escalators to the very top floor. I always think it's almost arrogant of Aegean to waste so much space up here on this circulation space outside the lounge itself. But into the now familiarly styled Aegean Lounge, and a really great lounge it is. It wasn't busy this mid-afternoon, so there was plenty of free seating. There's a central drinks area with snacky items, soft drinks and coffee machines. At the far end of the lounge is the main food area, lots of options both hot and cold. It really is a significant spread, all individually portioned out too. Behind were the hot options, lots of them. Some were not immediately identifiable to me, although Greek visitors would probably know what everything was. I sampled quite a few things during my visit and everything was great. I haven't gone bottle by bottle, but I think this was an identical spirits offering to what I'd found in Thessaloniki. And again, there were some nibbles here designed to accompany a drink. Nuts and the like here, with wines, some mixers and beers, plus a couple of, I guess you'd say, petit fours. Both were absolutely delicious. I don't think I've ever seen that in a lounge before, and neither have I seen a stack of serving gloves complete with a blower which separates them out to make it easier to put one on. Quite remarkable. Again, my only real criticism would be the low backs on some of the chairs, but you can't fault Aegean's consistency, as the Schengen, non-Schengen and Thessaloniki lounges all looked and felt similarly excellent. I only had about an hour in the lounge, but I really could have spent all day there. I'd have eaten a lot of those salmon mousses though. I don't use the word excellent in my videos often, but Aegean deserves that level of praise for their lounge offering. It's not up there with some of the first-class lounges around the world, but it really is an excellent business class offering. Off to the gate for the last flight of the trip. Boarding was a little delayed, which meant I got to watch some fun movements at the next gate, but soon enough we were called forward and I took my rightful place in Group 1. Although again it was hashtag boarding not boarding, a little less scenic this time. Only a few minutes to wait though, and on to yet another of Aegean's A320s, this time a Neo, delivered 15 months ago. And despite the relatively last-minute upgrade, I was allocated a window seat, so settled into seat 4A. 7 rows of business that afternoon. And by snagging one of the front 5 rows, I snagged a seat with 32 inches of legroom, although it looks snugger. And as it's the same seat as you get in economy, it had the same tray table, device holder and USB socket as the economy seat you saw in my last video. We were 23 minutes late pushing back in the end, but that time passed with the assistance of a pre-departure beverage, sparkling wine for me. And up. And let me fast forward to the service, which started with the delivery of a menu, a pretty substantial menu too, more bonus marks to the airline here. Really struggling to find faults again here, and the only one that I could come up with was that they could assist the non-Greek traveller by giving a little more info on the local drinks. Most people know what ouzo is, but sipura, kios mastiga, no clues are given. A hot towel, yet more bonus marks. This was Euro business, remember. No pre-dinner drinks round though, and the meal was served in one go on one tray. Hey, this is Euro business, remember. I went for the chicken, 2 bread rolls, that was olive paste, which was unusual, and some olive oil. That was the Genema Psychis wine, basically a Cabernet Sauvignon. Of all of the things I ate whilst I was in Aegean's care on this trip, the starter here was the least impressive. It was basically soft vegetable mush, which just didn't appeal. The rest was delicious. And dessert was delivered separately, semolina halva. Not something I'd ever order, but it hit the spot. A quick visit to the loo, and it's an airplane loo. I saw that Josh Cahill is soon to stop filming airplane lavatories, and I'm inclined to join him on that strategy, unless I'm flying on Emirates, of course. Let me know in the comments if you find these sequences even remotely interesting. A couple of top-up rounds were made over the course of the 3 hours and 19 minutes we were aloft en route to London, along with a coffee round. Time passed. I may have napped. And before I knew it, we were descending into London. We made up time in flight and landed a couple of minutes early. Aegean dropped the ball on my outbound flight, but otherwise they were impeccable. I paid £235 for these 4 flights. Remember, Aegean has 50% off sale several times a year, which can make trips like this exceptional value. 1 upgrade voucher and €70 in upgrade bids got me into business class for 3 of the 4 flights. And those 4 flights get me well on the way to regaining my gold status with Aegean, which will then work across the entire Star Alliance network. I'm still very pleased I picked Aegean to be my Star Alliance home. Having a long weekend somewhere in Greece every year or 2 is no hardship, and I think they are the best Euro airline, potentially by some distance. If there's a better Euro airline out there, I'd like to know about it. So thanks for watching, I hope you enjoyed it. Give the video a like if you did, and leave me a comment. What do you think about airplane toilets? Please subscribe if you're new, and if you'd like to support what I'm doing, check out my Patreon. It is quite good fun. So thanks again for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye.